Hey guys, and welcome to the very first episode of RayVin's Restaurant. I'm your host, chef and maître d', RayVin's. Here at RayVin's Restaurant, we like to take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and make it booyah. Today we're going to be showing you how to make a simple little dish that can be used for an appetizer for any kind of meal, or is preferably used, especially since we're in the Christmas holidays, it's used for parties. For Christmas parties, for New Year's Eve parties, for office parties. It's a simple little dish you can make, and it's very, very, very good to eat as well as look at. It is called RayVin's Fleur de Queso, or a queso flour. Here's what you'll need to make this really simple dish. I'll already do it. Let's see, you're gonna need a jar of salsa. And for this next part, you're gonna need cheese. You can either use, what I'm gonna use today, a jar of medium spice cheese dip that you can find in your chip aisle at your marketplace, or you could just get a little thing of velvetta and melt it in the fridge, in the microwave. But for me, I like to go with what works. All right, let's see, down here in the fridge, you're gonna need half an onion. And then in here you're gonna need a pound of ground beef or ground chuck, whichever one you prefer. If it's frozen, like mine is, go ahead and start defrosting it in your microwave for about 10 minutes. Oh, also forgot something out of the fridge. To give it some zing, I'm gonna use a little bit of bacon fat. All right. Here's how you prep for your Fleur de Queso. First, as your meat is in the microwave defrosting, go ahead and take your onion and dice it up real nice. Then you want to get yourself one of these. Put her on the oven and put her at about medium high to high heat. Probably medium high to be safe. For me, it's about 7-ish. Make sure to put a little bit of butter in the pan before you throw your onions in and let it melt. That way it'll give your onions a nice brown color as they start to cook. All right, let's check on our meat that's in the microwave. Just about defrosted, so we're gonna go ahead and get it out and we're gonna prep that before we cook our onions. Now what you're gonna need is you're gonna need a bowl to put your meat in. And you're probably gonna need about a pound or so of meat, 3/4 of a pound to a pound. That way there's enough meat that'll go into the salsa that we're gonna make later. Let's see. What we're gonna do is we're gonna season up our meat a little bit so it has a little bit of kick to it. I'm from the dirty South, so we're gonna use a little bit of Tony Sacharis. What you're gonna do is you can take the Tonys, and if you want a lot of kick to it, add a bunch. If not, use a pinch. I'm just gonna give it a little dash like so. And you gotta get in there and really grind it in there with your hands like this. Make sure it gets all intertwined with your meat, because you want every piece of your meat to have the same kick. Get a bit of consistency up in there. Like that. Now, if you don't like Tony's or you don't like spice, salt and pepper will be just fine. Or you want a little bit of spice without as much saltiness to it, use some Tabasco sauce, that's about as good too. And to make sure you wash your hands after you deal with the meat. Once your meat's properly seasoned, go ahead and toss your onions onto the oven and start cooking them. We're gonna go ahead and cook these onions until they're nice and almost brown. When they're just about brown, or you see a couple of them starting to turn brown, that's when you're gonna throw in your meat and start mixing together and cooking it. to save time for the video, we're going to do space time fast forward. Brown texture on the meat and on the onions is about halfway done cooking right now. And it's about this point you need to take it off the heat and bust out the bacon. Now for the bacon, you're just going to want to get a little bit of the fat on either side of the bacon. You don't want too much bacon in there or it'll overpower the taste of the meat itself that we've already put in the pan, as well as the onions. The bacon is a very, very powerful meat. So make sure you just get a little bit of the fat off the side and throw in there with your hamburger meat. For measurement's sake, it's about palm size the amount of bacon you want to throw in there. If you don't like as much bacon in there, maybe about half that much. But for me, bacon makes everything better, baby. Once you add the meat back, your bacon to your meat, throw that bad boy back on the heat. As you see, there's our bacon right in the middle. That's going to be so good when it starts mixing in. Space time fast forward. A pro tip when you're cooking meat, always keep your meat moving. You don't want your meat to sit still too long, because if you do, it'll get burnt. And nobody likes to taste the burnt meat in their queso. Let me tell you that right now. This meat's just about done. So just give it a little bit more time so everything's nice and brown, and I'll tell you what to do next. Space time fast forward. Now our meat is looking mighty fine now. It's just about thoroughly cooked. I'm gonna go ahead and let this cook just a little bit longer, and I'm gonna show you what to do with your salsa and queso. Right now would be a good time for you Velveeta users to go ahead and melt your Velveeta in any kind of bowl to be poured on into a saucepan. Now that the meat's thoroughly cooked, and hopefully by now your Velveeta is nice and melted, or if you like me, you got the can, go ahead and get a saucepan out. I like to use a bigger one, a deeper one, that way everything stays together in a tighter quantity and absorb all the flavors together. Go ahead and put this on the stove at about medium-low heat. First, take your cheese. You gotta be kidding. It popped open when I was... And your salt. Take your salsa. Oh, first try, baby. Yeah. Go ahead and take both and put them in the saucepan. Once you have your salsa and your cheese together in the pot, go ahead and start stirring thoroughly. Quite there yet, my friends, because now we have to add, dun-da-da, our meat. For the presentation, you're going to need a decently sized party platter like this one. About like this, depending on how big your party is. For me, it's just me and my wife, so I'm going to just use a regular size plate. Something I should have probably mentioned at the beginning of the video, I will have it in the sidebar with all the ingredients you'll need. You're gonna need a bag of these. Tostito crispy rounds. Make sure you get the rounds too, because for me, the rounds seem to be perfect for presentation stuff. Look like from above. Typical little queso platter. If you want, you can add to it by putting another layer of chips on top of the queso itself, and then adding chips on top of that, and top of that. Make it as deep and tall as you want. For your party platter, you're going to want it right in the middle, and on the outside, you're going to want to put your excess chips for other people to come in and get a dip. Well, I thank you for joining me here on RayVin's Restaurant. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I know I did. Here at RayVin's Restaurant, I'm going to take a little bit of this, A little bit of that. Booyah. See y'all next time. This is so good.